The ashes remembered the galaxy had forgotten Earth. Most believed it was nothing more than a myth, a burned planet lost in the ruins of time. 10,000 years ago, the Empire had unleashed firestorms across human lands, turning oceans into steam and continents into glass. They had called it cleansing, the end of a dangerous species that would not bow. But the truth was different. Not all humans perished in the flames. Scattered fleets escaped into the black void, carrying stories, carrying pain, carrying a promise whispered across generations. One day we will return. Alien scholars sometimes laughed when the legend was told in taverns. They said humans were a primitive race who could not have survived a single century in exile. Others warned not to mock them, for the silence of 10,000 years was not peace, it was waiting. On the edge of the outer rim, a patrol ship moved slowly through the darkness. Its crew of scaled warriors scanned the void, bored and half asleep. Then the alarms began to scream. Something vast was coming through the black, not from hyperspace. Not from any jump lane, but from the emptiness itself. They saw it before the scanners caught it. A shadow against the stars, a shape larger than their own capital ships. Its hull was black metal scarred with glowing lines. No known empire forged ships like that. Symbols marked its side, old, alien, and yet strangely familiar. The patrol commander felt his chest tighten. The stories came back to him, the ones his grandmother had told. Symbols of the lost Earth. Humans. He tried to order a retreat, but the void shook before he could finish. A beam of light cut through the patrol ship like paper. No warning, no mercy. The shadow ship passed silently as, if it did not even notice the destruction left behind across the Empire's border worlds, whispers began to spread, ships destroyed in silence, patrols vanishing without distress calls. Witnesses spoke of massive warships with no known markings. Older captains muttered only one word: humans, far from the Empire's gaze, deep in the hidden sectors of space. A council of exiles gathered, men and women with steel in their eyes, born in stations and colonies unknown to maps. Their voices carried the same oath passed for 10,000 years. Earth was burned, but Earth was not defeated. At the center of the council, the great ship rested. It was called the Revenant, a warship older than memory, built from fragments of Earth's last fleets and reforged in exile. Its core was alive with ancient human code. Its purpose had never changed. Vengeance. Captains stepped forward and touched the hull. Their hands trembled, for they were the chosen generation, the ones born to return. Their ancestors had hidden, waiting, building, sacrificing. Now the time had come. The Revenant stirred. Its engines lit the void with a pale blue flame. Across the hidden colonies, thousands of ships powered on. The silence of 10,000 years ended in a single heartbeat. The Empire did not know yet, but the first warship had already crossed their borders. The ghosts of Earth were awake, and the galaxy was about to learn that humanity never forgets, never forgives. The first strike. The Empire thought the patrol ship was lost to accident. Perhaps a reactor failure or pirates. They had no reason to believe it was something worse. Not yet, but the survivors who saw the shadow ship whispered, and their whispers spread faster than orders, in markets and outposts, in docking bays and smugglers' dens. One word passed from mouth to mouth. Humans. A week later, another fleet vanished. 6 ships gone. No distress signals, no wreckage left behind, only drifting debris and frozen silence. The admirals tried to explain it away. They told the council it was just raiders, but the fear in their eyes betrayed the truth. Deep in the void, the Revenant moved silently. Its black hull swallowed starlight. No beacon, no broadcast, no trace. Like a predator, it hunted. Each strike was fast, surgical, and brutal. Alien fleets that had once mocked humanity found themselves reduced to ashes in minutes. The first true message came when an Empire destroyer dared to challenge it. The captain demanded surrender. He called the human ship a ghost, He laughed at the legend of Earth, and then, without a single word in return, the Revenant fired. One beam, one strike. The destroyer split in half before its crew could scream. A recording survived, carried by an escape pod that drifted until it was found. The image of the massive warship appeared in council chambers, ancient markings on its hull, human words, scarred, glowing metal. No Empire ship could stand against it. The council chamber fell into silence for the first time in 10,000 years. They realized the ghosts had flesh on distant colonies. Alien refugees remembered old stories. They spoke of a time when humans had been allies, a time when Earth's fleets defended the weak against the Empire's cruelty. Those who had seen the purge still wept when they spoke of oceans boiling and cities burning. And now, when they saw the Revenant, they whispered, "The children of Earth are back." The Empire panicked. Fleets were dispatched in every direction. Admirals demanded reinforcements. Yet every time they engaged the Revenant, the result was the same: burning wrecks, drifting bodies, silence. It was not just one ship anymore. Hidden, fleets began to emerge from the dark edges of space, from forgotten nebulae, from hollowed asteroids that had hidden shipyards for centuries. They came. Ships forged in secret, old human steel mixed with new fire. They looked ancient, but their power tore through shields like they were nothing. Empire commanders tried to understand. How had humans survived exile for 10,000 years? How had they built fleets in silence while the galaxy believed them gone? But no answers came. Only fear. In one battle above a mining moon, an empire. Fleet of 30 ships surrounded the Revenant. They fired everything at once: missiles, beams, plasma storms. The void burned with light. But when the fire cleared, the Revenant still moved. Its shields shimmered, its guns glowed, and in less than 10 minutes the entire fleet was gone. The mining moon burned with the wreckage of Empire ships. The surviving miners saw the human ship pass overhead. They expected death, but instead, the Revenant broadcast one simple message across all frequencies: "We are humanity. We have returned. No threats, no negotiation, no mercy, only the promise. The promise spoken 10,000 years ago. Earth will never be forgotten." Across the Empire, soldiers trembled, civilians whispered in fear. And in the dark halls of the High Council, old war records were opened. They remembered the day they had ordered Earth burned. They remembered the fire, the screams, the silence. They thought the story had ended there. But now the ending was gone. A new chapter had begun. The Empire did not just face a ghost. It faced an enemy that had been waiting for 10,000 years. An enemy that carried the weight of every burned city, every lost child. And the humans were not fighting for conquest. They were fighting for something far deeper. Vengeance. They had returned. The awakening of fear. The Empire could no longer hide the truth. Reports of human fleets spread like wildfire. Border sectors fell silent, stations destroyed, patrols gone. Everywhere the Revenant appeared. Nothing survived. Yet the humans never lingered, never claimed territory. They struck, vanished, and struck again. Fear became a living thing. Whole planets whispered the same words. "The children of Earth have come back in council chambers," leaders argued. Some demanded overwhelming force. Others whispered of peace. But the memory of the purge hung over them like a shadow. How could they ever negotiate with the very race? They had tried to erase, above a trade world. Another human fleet arrived. Not one ship, but dozens. Their designs were strange, almost archaic, yet their power eclipsed anything the Empire fielded. Alien civilians watched in terror as the sky burned. But then, something unexpected happened. The human fleet did not fire on the planet. Instead, they targeted Empire defenses only. Gun batteries, garrisons, warships, in hours. The planet was free. When the smoke cleared, a human message was broadcast. "We do not come for you. We come for them." On the ground, civilians wept. They remembered the kindness of humanity from long ago. Before the Purge, humans had been defenders, allies. Now they had returned with fire, but not all of that fire was for innocence. The weak were spared. Only the Empire bled. Refugees fled to human lines. Whole alien families begged for shelter, and to their shock, they were accepted. The Revenants. Crew shared food, medicine, warmth. Old instincts of humanity returned. Protect the weak, punish the cruel. Word of this spread faster than Empire propaganda. The galaxy began to see not monsters, but saviors cloaked in vengeance. Inside the Empire, paranoia grew. Admirals accused each other of weakness. Governors rebelled rather than face the human. Fleets. The Empire was rotting from within, and the humans had only struck a fraction of their strength. One night, in a hidden chamber, a group of alien leaders met in secret. They were not part of the Empire. They were races who had once fought beside humanity. They remembered the betrayal. They remembered watching Earth burn. And they had waited too, when they heard the Revenants. Call, they answered. Secret messages were sent. Supplies, coordinates, safe harbors. The Alliance of the Forgotten was born again. Meanwhile, the Empire prepared its grand counterattack. 1,000 ships gathered in the Orion Belt, an armada. Meant to crush humanity once and for all, the High Council declared this fleet unstoppable. A storm that would wipe the ghosts back into myth. But the humans knew. Their spies had never left the Empire's shadows. The Revenant moved first. It struck the Orion fleet before it could launch. Mines detonated in silence, hidden for decades. Ancient human codes activated weapons buried in asteroids. And the Armada burned before it ever reached battle. Panic consumed the Empire, their greatest fleet destroyed by weapons they never knew existed. Questions spread like disease. How long had humans been preparing this? How many traps lay hidden? In the void. What else had they built in their exile, on border worlds? Children played with a new rhyme. 10,000 years of waiting, 10,000 years of flame. Earth returns in shadows. The galaxy feels their name. The rhyme spread faster than soldiers could silence it. The awakening of fear was complete. The Empire's enemies rallied in secret. Its civilians no longer trusted their rulers, and its soldiers looked at the stars. With dread, for in every shadow they saw the Revenant, and in every silence they heard a promise. Humanity had returned, not as victims, not as myths, but as the storm. The Empire shatters. The Empire had ruled for ages. Its fleet stretched across the stars. Its governors crushed rebellions before they ever began. Its power was thought unshakable. But the return of humanity broke that illusion. Systems once loyal, now burned. Worlds once obedient, now rebelled. And the shadow of fear spread faster than orders. Each whisper carried the same warning. The ghosts of Earth are awake. The High Council demanded answers. Their admirals swore they could contain the threat. Yet fleet after fleet was destroyed. Traps sprung from ancient silence. Weapons no one had ever seen unleashed destruction. It was as if the void itself fought for humanity. And then came the revelation. The Revenant was not alone. A signal pulsed. Across the stars, one by one, warships emerged. Hundreds, then thousands, ships that had hidden in nebulae. Black holes, dead sectors, each carrying the same mark, the symbol of Earth. Their flagship was unlike anything the galaxy had known. Larger than cities, older than empires. Its hull glowed with scars from battles 10,000 years gone, yet its heart still pulsed with ancient human fire. It was called the Eternal Dawn. The last great ship of Earth kept alive by generations of sacrifice. Its awakening shook the Empire to its core. The Eternal Dawn moved slowly. Its shadow swallowed fleets whole. Its guns fired beams that ripped space like cloth. And every Empire ship that faced it broke apart in minutes. Admirals wept as they watched recordings. How could they fight a weapon older than their empire itself? But it was not just the fleets that broke. Inside the Empire, rebellion spread. Aliens who had once feared humanity now raised banners of alliance. Governors refused to send troops. Whole sectors turned their guns against the Empire. The fear of humans became hope for the oppressed. The Empire's walls cracked, and through those cracks poured fire. On the world of Kalor, 100,000 civilians marched. They carried no weapons, only torches. They lit the governors. Palace aflame, crying out a single chant, "Earth returns, Earth returns." Their rebellion inspired others. Planets fell not to human guns, but to their own people. The Empire's chains were breaking themselves. In the council chamber, silence ruled. Leaders who had once mocked humanity now stared in horror. Their greatest fleets were ash, their governors were traitors, their people whispered human songs. And above it all, the Revenant and the Eternal Dawn pressed forward toward the heart of the Empire. The humans were no longer myths. They were not ghosts. They were vengeance given form. And the Empire knew the truth. This was not a war they could win. The humans fought with tactics unseen for millennia. Their fleets moved like hunters, small. Groups striking and vanishing, others appearing where no jump lanes existed. The Empire could not predict them, because the Empire had forgotten creativity, but humanity had been forged in survival. 10,000 years of exile had sharpened them into blades, and then the Empire's core world shook, for the Revenant broadcast a signal across all channels, an image of Earth, burned, scarred, but remembered, and a single message spoken in 1,000 languages. "We come home." The Empire trembled, its fleets scattered, its leaders fled, its walls cracked beyond repair. The storm had broken, the Empire shuddered beneath it, and in the silence that followed, the galaxy realized what it meant. The Empire was not eternal, but humanity was. Vengeance and return. The Empire gathered its last strength. Fleets from every surviving sector, warriors pulled from broken worlds. Their leaders swore humanity would be stopped. They called it the final stand, a storm to crush the Revenant and the Eternal Dawn. But the humans were already waiting, their fleets spread across the void like shadows, their ships scarred but unbroken, their hearts burning with memory. For this was not just another battle. This was the place where Earth had once lived. Long ago, the Empire had turned Earth into ashes. Oceans boiled, mountains shattered, a homeworld erased. But humans had never forgotten. Their exile had only sharpened the wound. And now, after 10,000 years, they had returned to the grave of their world. The Empire's grand armada appeared in waves. Thousands of ships blotting out the stars, weapons glowing like suns. They believed sheer numbers would win, but numbers meant nothing to a people who had endured extinction. The battle began with silence. Then the void erupted. Beams of light, storms of fire, shields cracked, hulls shattered, human fleets moved with precision. No Empire captain could match. Their tactics flowed like water, unpredictable, unstoppable. While the Eternal Dawn unleashed destruction unseen in the galaxy's history, its guns carved through armadas like a scythe through fields. Entire squadrons vanished in seconds. Still, the Empire fought. Their admirals screamed orders. Their soldiers died by the thousands, but no courage, no sacrifice could change what had begun. Because the humans did not fight only with weapons. They fought with memory, with rage, with the weight of every ancestor who had whispered, "One day we will return." In the heart of the battle, the Revenant broke through. It dove past burning wreckage and shattered cruisers. Its guns struck the Empire's command ship, a vessel the size of a city. One blast, two, three, and the Empire's command burned, its leaders silenced forever. Chaos spread through their armada with no orders. Fleets broke apart. Some fled, some surrendered, others were destroyed where they stood. The Empire was not just losing, it was ending. Then humanity revealed its final weapon. From the Eternal Dawn, a great machine unfolded, larger than mountains, glowing with light, a planet forge. a creation whispered of in myths, built in exile, hidden for millennia, its purpose simple: to breathe life into the ashes of Earth. As the Empire collapsed around them, the humans turned their weapon not on their enemy, but on their home. The Forge released waves of energy, matter reshaped, stone formed, oceans poured. The grave of Earth began to shine again. Blue seas returned, green lands rose. The dead world was reborn before the galaxy's eyes. Aliens across the stars watched in silence, for they saw not vengeance alone. They saw resurrection, a people who refused to die, a world that refused to stay dead. The last Empire ships drifted. Their captains dropped their weapons. Their soldiers bowed their heads. The war was over, and the victors were the very ones the Empire had sworn to erase. Humanity stood upon the bridge of the eternal dawn, their voices carried across the stars. We have returned, and we will never burn again. The galaxy trembled, not with fear, alone but with awe, for the story of Earth had not ended 10,000 years ago. It had only begun. And now, the children of Earth walked among the stars once more, unbroken, unyielding, eternal.